warm welcome to you as join us on today's episode of Tax Matters as we enter the month of April 2018. Yes, we're in the second quarter 2018 already. We thank God Almighty for the quarter that has gone past, and we commit our businesses and our personal lives into the hands of the Almighty from the second quarter into the third and to the fourth and into 2019, the year of elections. Now, talking about April means that if the calls for extension are not heeded, then the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, which began in July 2017, has come to an end. Like a friend of ours likes to say, mercy has ended. Tax amnesty has ended. On today's episode of the program, you are going to be learning a lot about taxes and taxation. We call it Taxation 101, and you will know very soon where that is coming from. Of course, we also hear that the words of elders are words of wisdom. There will also be so much of that on the program. By the time you finish watching this program today, you become a tax expert. It all happened in the course of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board, which was hosted by the Osun State government from the 25th to the 28th of March 2018. You will get to hear about the resolve of the tax authorities to increase the yield coming in from value-added tax, as well as looking beyond personal income tax for internally generated revenue at the state level. They call it deepening IGR beyond personal income tax. Of course, also, you will hear about the activities of the tax authorities in the area of ensuring that Nigeria's currently abysmally low tax to GDP ratio of 6% is taken to a high of 20%. Yes, 20%. And by the end of 2018, if you ask me, it is achievable. And of course, as this has ended, the tax authorities have also decided that going forward, all applicable tax laws will be enforced to the letter. Grab a drink, cross your legs. Let's go together into a voyage of enlightenment and education on taxation. The program is Tax Matters. Welcome back. What we are about on this episode of Tax Matters is to tell you the story of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board, which was held in Osogbo, Osun State from the 25th to the 28th of March 2018. The African way of doing things, at least in these parts of the world, is that you don't go past the house of a king without stopping by to pay courtesies. So the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board kicked off with a courtesy call on the Ataoja of Osogbo, the traditional ruler of the state capital, Oba Jimoh Olanipekun Laroye II. Executive Chairman, Federal Revenue Service, Chairman Joint Tax Board, Mr. Batunde Fowler, explained their mission.
We are here to come and receive your blessings. Today, we have come as tax administrators, but the two tax administrators are the Royal Highnesses who we are here to come and salute. In those days, in that time, tax compliance was 100% because our royal fathers took total control and took everyone under their leadership as family members. So we're here to come and get wise advice, but most of all, receive your blessing that as we carry out this duty on behalf of the nation, that you'll also, in spirit, talk to your subjects to partner with us and let them know that we're here to serve them and that every naira, every kobo that we collect in tax, we assure them that it will be spent wisely. Especially in the state of Osun, we have heard, and today we're going to see all the good work that His Excellency, your son, the governor, has been doing. And when we do that, we will broadcast it across the nation, so the whole nation can see the impact of tax revenue on development.
The Ataoja of Osogbo rose to the occasion by speaking on behalf of the taxpayer.
The piece of advice I might have in mind to say has been expressed by the chairman. That is only to make judicious expenditure of whatever you are able to generate through the process in order to let the masses benefit as expected.
From the palace of the Ataja of Osogbo, the next port of call was Government House Osogbo, where the host governor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, warmly received the taxmen and women from all over Nigeria. Now the Taxation 101 that we're talking about begins.
We must greet you for leading or heading a vital organ in your respective states. I have no doubt in my mind that you appreciate what you are doing. But please, appreciate it the more today. Because there can't be any government at all. What we have in Nigeria is an aberration. Taxation came into human life from the beginning of time. But the record, the only known record of taxation dated back to 6000 BC, which says that human beings had known the essence of taxation 6,000 years before the birth of Christ. If the totality of years were spent after the death of Christ is just 2018, you can imagine. And if you ask people, they say, it's been a long time. 6,000 years before the birth of Christ, people were already paying taxes. So we are not saying anything new. However, public service is only possible with tax. We'll be begging the issue if you think that the model of Nigeria today is sustainable. It's not sustainable. In the first instance, with the best of effort, with the most concentrated supplication to God, oil will not be marketable anymore in the next 30 years. There is nothing you do, no supplication will make that possible. As a commodity, oil, crude oil, will no longer be a commodity for generating revenue to run a nation in another 30 years. What I'm talking about? If oil will be useless in another 30 years at most, to us as a means of revenue earning, then the only thing we must do today is overwork ourselves to develop alternatives for oil revenue. Whoever earns in any economy must pay. There's no other way to run a government. There is no other way to run a modern government outside the contribution of the citizens who are working. You might require to review your wages. If you think some people are unable, if you think so, I'm not saying they are not, to pay their taxes, because nothing diminishes a man in an organized society and community that not be part of those supporting the public services of that community is the greatest debasement of man. For as long as you can work and support yourself, you must equally be ready and proud to support the system, because the services that the government that governments provide are such that no individual can provide such services. The reason why things are totally down here, we are struggling to meet to provide basic infrastructure, from electricity to road to security to potable water, good education, health services, is because the revenue accruing to government is low. That's number one. And why the inadequate revenue is being stolen is that the people do not have a sense of active participation. If they actually pay from their earning, which is legally obtained, they will not wait for EFCC to arrest anybody. They will they will not wait for they won't need EFCC to check obnoxious corruption and scandalous corruption. They will not. So is a cycle. Reduce taxation, people will not be concerned about how you run their life because whatever they are paying is easily dispensable. Increase it, there will be such a consciousness about every kobo is spent by those who are administering it.
You see why we call it Taxation 101? The lecturer, of course, is the Executive Governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and we hope you got the drift or the correction, if you like. If people don't pay taxes, then the government is starved of the much-needed funds to execute projects. If people don't pay taxes, then they don't feel the pinch. They don't feel concerned when those in authority are inept or corrupt, because after all, it is government money. It is not my money, or it is oil money, like in the case of Nigeria. It was Dr. Abani who once said, they know they chop society money, they know they chop community money.
Every day, my people they for work. Some they do office work. Some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook am oh. Oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
True talk, better soup na money cook am. Before Governor Aregbesola spoke, the executive chairman of the FIRS, Chairman Joint Tax Board, Mr. Babatunde Fala, had spoken about the imperatives of making taxation the pivot of Nigeria's economic growth into a prosperous nation.
We'd like to congratulate you, sir, on your leadership, and of course, all the officers who worked with you on growing the internal revenue of Osun State, which showed an increase of over 35% between 2016 and 2017. For the first time in history, even at the international level, at the last meeting of the United Nations in February, the World Bank, the IMF, the OECD, and other organs of government, including the United Nations, got together for the first time, and they came up with a theory, not only a theory, but something practical, that any country whose tax to GDP ratio is below 15% cannot provide sustainable economic development or social development. So as we move on, it is our responsibility to make sure our individual states and the nation Nigeria has a tax to GDP ratio of at least 15%. In Africa, it is currently an average of 17%. But Nigeria, being the type of country it is, with the type of potential that we have, will not rest on the minimums. I believe our target should be to fall into the range of at least 25%, if not this year, in the coming year.
Governor Rauf Aregbesola was also fully on ground at the formal opening ceremony of the 148th meeting of the Joint Tax Board, which he performed later in the morning. In his welcome address, Acting Executive Chairman Osun State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Bisi Ali, gave a scorecard of his administration.
We did a lot in the last 1 year, and we believe that we have not done enough. Our target is over 10 billion. We look at our GDP as a state and compare what we are generating by way of taxes to our GDP, and we realize that it was not acceptable. We're not even getting 1% of our value. We have the highest GDP amongst the states when it talks about investment in Nigeria. Yes, we are not where we are supposed to be, but we have been able to do certain things. Yes, last 1 year we've been able to enforce a lot. Yes, serious enforcement. We did a lot of collaboration with informal sector, a lot of collaboration with people in the formal sector. We need to expand our reach. Rather than building more offices, we went into collaboration with banks, and we have 10 banks that offered us their various spaces to use as tax office. We have posted our staff there.
Executive Secretary of the Joint Tax Board, Chief Osedi Lama, situated the theme of the 148th meeting of the Joint Tax Board within the context of the operating environment.
The JTB is an umbrella body of all tax authorities in Nigeria. Provides a very unique platform for the collaboration, dispute resolution, and exchange of information between relevant stakeholders to continuously ensure uniformity and harmony in tax administration in Nigeria. The Joint Tax Board periodically collates and analyzes IGR data for states. A careful analysis of the data already collated reveals that about 95% of the tax authority increased the IGR during the year 2017. This obviously includes that of the state of Osun, which make a remarkable increase from the 2016 what obtained in 2017 to about over 30%. This obviously reveals that the efforts of the relevant agencies like JTB is yielding positive results. However, we realize that the pay as you earn, the personal income tax, contributes an average of 52% to the general IGR collections of State Internal Revenue Service. Hence the reason for the theme of this meeting, deepening internally generated revenue beyond personal income tax. Furthermore, in line with the main objective of the JTB, which is to promote uniformity and ensure harmonization of personal income tax administration across the country, and also advise all tiers of government on tax matter, we have developed a central tax identification number generation system nationwide to ensure that process automation in all tax administration in the country, including that of the state of Osun, also increase the number of registered taxpayers.
State Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Bola Oyebamiji, had words of advice for the polity.
Tax issue for Nigerian and its component is a survival issue. Our traditional source of revenue, as just been mentioned by Mr. Governor earlier on this morning, are fast drying up. The price of crude oil is at the most volatile period. Demand for crude oil will continue to drop as more countries continue to embrace engines powered by alternative energies other than petrol and diesel. So when I saw the theme of this event, deepening internally generated revenue beyond income tax, I became excited. Not because the statement speaks directly to the board mission statement, but because it is what we must all preach and practice, given our current financial experience in Nigeria. Here in Osun, our government has done well. We have grown our taxpayers' base to more than 560,000 from its paltry figure years back. We have also succeeded in opening some other revenue sources by implementing programs which had resulted in significant growth. As we speak, we have more than 1.3 million micro, small, and medium enterprises in Osun.
Of course, the chairman of the Joint Tax Board, Mr. Batunde Fowler, had the floor again.
We're going to go and visit some sites where taxpayers' money has been utilized for the benefit of the people. And we will send this message across the nation. We've seen a little bit. I'm sure we're going to say a whole lot more.
And go around they did. And it was amazing the level of work that has been done in Osun State using taxpayers' money. Of course, inspection of projects has become a crucial part of the quarterly meeting of the JTB in recent years, something like a peer review. There were roads, intra-city and interstate roads. There were bridges. There was the Ansarudeen Government Elementary School, looking very much like a secondary school. And of course, there was the massive Osogbo Government High School, looking every inch a university. There was a recreation park. There was more. We asked the chairman, Joint Task Board, for his impressions.
Well, so far, there's only one word we can say. Excellent in terms of the deployment of taxpayers' revenue from all indications, from healthcare to roads to schools to the things that are necessary for you and I.
And from the state governor. Sir, we want to congratulate you on the giant strides that you are making in Osun State. What role would you say that revenue from taxes has played in what you have been able to achieve?
In the first instance, there can't be any government, there can't be a modern government without taxation. Taxation and revenue derived from taxation are the soul, the art of governance. Governance is impossible without taxes and revenue that are derivable from taxes. As to our state, as to the state of Osun, it's clear that either what we have collected and what we anticipate to collect combined are the means through which we could do those things that we have done or we are still doing and we are going to do.
Would you say that the people are cooperating in the area of paying taxes willingly?
Osun is Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọmọlúwàbí, which literally means the state of the virtuous. So our people understand why they must pay taxes and they are cooperating with us.
Activities on day one were rounded off with another royal visit, this time to the palace of the Oni of Ife, where Oni Enitan Ogunwusi enthusiastically received his guests. Highlights of that royal visit, plus more of the lectures coming from the stable of Professor Ralph Aregbesola, and of course, more of the tour of projects executed with taxpayers' money in Osun State will come to you in a subsequent episode of Tax Matters, plus interviews with the host chairman of the Osun State Internal Revenue Service and the executive secretary of the Joint Task Board. Permit us in the time remaining today to serve you the communique of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board.
Communique issued at the end of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board held from the 25th to the 28th March 2018 at the State Secretariat, Osogbo, Osun State. The theme of the meeting was deepening internally generated revenue beyond personal income tax. The board deliberated on various issues and took the following resolutions. 1. That VAT being the fastest growing tax type worldwide, we should ensure that we reach the full potential of this tax revenue source, and consumers should insist that receipts are issued carrying the VAT amount, while revenue agencies will ensure that VAT collected is remitted on a monthly basis as and when due. 2. That the consolidation of all taxpayers' database on a single platform is expected to be completed by the end of April 2018. 3. That all state revenue boards explore all non-personal income tax sources of revenue to improve the non-PIT to total internally generated revenue ratio. 4. That we intend to increase our tax to GDP ratio to at least 20% by 31st of December 2018. 5. That members reiterated that any emblem, sticker obtained in any local government shall cover the whole nation to avoid the incidence of double taxation. 6. That based on the executive order, the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, VADS, will come to an end on the 31st of March 2018. Tax authorities shall enforce full compliance with existing laws on non-compliant individuals and corporate organizations after the expiration of the VADS window period. Signed, Tunde Fowler, Chairman, Joint Tax Board. Signed, Oseni Elama, MNI, Secretary, Joint Tax Board.
We thank you most sincerely for watching today's episode of the program. Next episode, we will tell you more of the story of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board. Wish you a blessed week ahead and a resoundingly successful April 2018. Thank you for watching.